Alright, so this is video number 3. I'm just going to cover a couple things I might have missed. Um, this is essentially the same graph that I've been showing. This is an updated version. And this whole period of time is 25,920 days. Right? This whole period right here, I'm calling it the framework. And this is the framework. On the next graph, I'm going to fill it in with the months in astronomical terms. Okay, and this period that I'm starting, okay, is starting at the Nuremberg executions. Okay, I think that everyone would agree that justice was served that day, um, and I believe on 10/16/1946, what we have here is a starting of a cycle of time, and this is that cycle right here. Okay, it's often referred to as a great year, but in reality, well, there's nothing mystical about it. It's a procession of the equinox. It's the mechanics of the Creator's work. All right, and this is just a reflection of that in a smaller scale. All right, this is 25,920 days. Okay, it also represents a circle, which is 360 degrees. Okay, a biblical day or biblical year is 360 days. Okay, this period right here, it also represents 864 months. Okay, 864 also is considered to be a fractal of the diameter of the moon or the diameter of the sun. It's very much a solar number. So all within here is a reflection of the creation. That's what I'm saying. And the very or the most important part of the Nuremberg executions is that you had a closing of time that resulted from World War II. You had justice that was served. It was on the 7th day of Sukkot. Okay, and that was 10/16, 1946. The 8th day assembly, which fell after sunset on 10/16/1946, so it went through sunset 10/17/1946. Both the number 7 and the number 8 in the Bible represents a closing and a beginning of time. Okay, over and over and over again, that is what you see. Okay, and if you're a practicing Jew, you'd be starting your Torah cycle reading over here on this day, on the 8th day assembly. Many places in the Bible, the number 7, among other things, represents a closing of time. The number 8 represents new beginnings. And so that's what we have here, is we have a starting of a cycle of time. Okay, and all I've done is I've broken this period of time into its divine proportions. It's also called phi, or the golden ratio. But I'm going to use divine proportions because it seems more appropriate. And when you break this down, that splitting or the divine proportion comes at August 25th and 26th, 1990. So there it is. This is the splitting right here. So essentially, if you go to a website and read about things in phi proportion, you usually see it. The one side will be written as A and B, and so here it is. Here's your larger side, and here's your smaller side. Okay, and the smaller side is often referred to as the golden section. This is where it is right here. And so, because everything here represents, it's this completion of time that represents a circle. It's the precession, or the axial precession of the equinox. Okay, but at this scale, every 72 days equals 1 degree. So all you do is divide this period right here, 1620, which is the largest side of this divine proportion, by 72, and here's your degrees, 222.5. It's also 534 months. Okay, and the same thing on your golden. You could call it the golden section, all right, or the golden angle. Excuse me, getting over a cold. So again, here's your golden section right here. It's 137.5. I'm simply dividing 72 days to 9,900, and this is what you get. And this is the splitting, okay, of this time right here. And within the golden section, all right, you have two very important periods of time. Okay, this period can be split into these two periods, which I believe are obviously this one right here, 1260. You know, everybody who's watching this is probably familiar with this. Okay, most people probably aren't with this. With 8,640. Okay, it represents 120 degrees, which is a third of a circle. It's also 288 months, and it's a third of time. Okay, it's a third of the overall period. Okay, that's what it represents. It also represents a third of the stars. Okay, at the big picture, or the heavenly timings. Okay, this number, or 120 degrees, represents a third of the stars. Okay, that's what it is. So the start, now if you call it back from Sukkot, because this is where it concludes, call it back 1,260 days. This is where it takes you, right here, 422, 423, 2014. It's the end of Passover. It's at the third quarter moon. On this date, the Grand Cardinal Cross of 2014 will be in perfect alignment. Okay, 7 days on either side of this, you have a lunar eclipse over here on Passover. This is the first one of the tetrad, right here. And this is the solar eclipse that follows it, 7 days. This period between these eclipses is a fortnight. And the Grand Cardinal Cross, in the 1,260 days, splits this fortnight in half. All right. So if you Google search Grand Cardinal Cross, April 2014, about 99% of what you're going to see is a bunch of astrologers, you know, talking about this event. And first of all, I should say that I believe that you could probably throw away about 90% of what any astrologer says. They personalize these things, but on one hand, they are able to pick out these things, which most people can't, or don't think they should. Okay, but God made the heavens, and He put all these things into motion, and people sometimes pervert these things. And I think that's the case with most astrologers. In any case, they're all pretty much excuse me, the astrologers, with regards to the Grand Cardinal Cross, are pretty much all in agreement. It's a pretty spectacular event. And no doubt, I believe it starts the 1,260 days. You know, if an astrologer's seen this chart, you know, they probably recognize some of this here. Most of them wouldn't have any idea what this is right here. Okay, and so I think there's a part that most Christians are missing. So we're not paying enough attention, looking up and understanding what's going on in the heavens. And I think a lot of that's changed over the past, you know, 3-4 years with the revelation of the blood moons. People are becoming more aware what's taking place in the heavens, and obviously that's the will of God. I'm sure He doesn't want His people to be ignorant of these things, and so He's making people aware. So anyways, This 1260-day period then would represent 17.5 degrees. Of course, it's 42 months, or it's a time times and half a time. And I think it's interesting to note too, you have the two witnesses who are given a time times and half a time, and then their bodies are laying in the streets for 3.5 days. So essentially you have 3.5 prophetic years, and you have 3.5 prophetic days. And so I think one aspect of that is I see a lot of what's going on with the two witnesses and the times that they're given is also a reflection of what's happening here. Okay, you have 3.5 days compared to 3.5 years. Okay, it's at a different scale, but it's a reflection of the overall period. And with this, it's just a smaller scale of the bigger picture. Okay, and so there's a couple other things I want to discuss here, but maybe I'll wait for another video for that. But I have one more chart. Okay, I'm going to show you, and much of this is recap. Just I don't want to miss anything. Okay, so I think this is extraordinarily important. What's going on here? Okay, extraordinarily important. So I want to be as accurate as possible. And I'll invite anybody to search these things out for themselves. And there's a lot more going on here, and I'll eventually get into all of it. And this is just what I know and how I've come to understand it. I didn't find this from anybody. I mean, just people have written about this period and about this period. Actually, when I first came across this, I was starting to see these dates of April 22nd, 23rd, 2014. All right, and I seen this date. I started putting some things together as I Google searched, looking for somebody who had seen these dates. I only came across one person who made any kind of reference to these two periods in 1260 days. And the gentleman's name is, I believe, it's Doug Krieger. He's got a website, the Tribulation Network. All right, and I'm sure if he's seen this, all right, because what was interesting is this: when I went to his website, what I discovered that this gentleman is extraordinarily versed in these figures right here. Okay, and if he would see this, he would immediately grab the gravity of it. In any case, I do believe it's important. So again, this is the framework. Okay, right here. This is the framework. This is the divine proportions. Okay, this is the splitting of it. This is what you get. Okay, when you count back 1260 days, you come right up here, 4/22/23, which I believe will be the start of the tribulation period. So now I'm going to fill this in with the seasons and the months, astronomically speaking. Okay, keeping it at the same scale. Okay, so this is essentially the same graph as the last one. Okay, this is the Nuremberg executions. This is Sukkot, the 7th day. Very next day is the 8th day assembly, or new beginnings, numerically speaking, or biblically, numerically speaking. All right, and this is the end. This is Sukkot 2017, and I want to talk about Libra for a minute. Okay, Libra is the 7th sign. Of course, it's the scales of justice. All right. So in 10/16/19 or 10/16 any year, all right, Libra enters its sidereal. So on the very day that those people were executed as a result of the Nuremberg executions, okay, Libra entered its sidereal on that very same day. Okay, and again you have the scales of justice, and the justice was served for sure on that day. So anyways, I'm going to talk about what's going on here. Okay, so Essentially, this can be broken down. 25,920 days can be broken down into seasons. Okay, there's 4 seasons in a year, and there's 4 seasons in a precession of the equinox. Okay, you can split it into 4, 6, and again, this is the day scale, or I'll call it I'll call this a little season. Okay, what's taking place in the heavens is a big season. This is a little season. That's just what I'm going to call it. And within a season, you have 3 months. Each period of 2,160 days is considered a month. Okay, there's 30 degrees of rotation. Okay, and so you have 12 months. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 12. Okay, there's 12 of these periods within this period. Each period here consists of 72 months. So again, what you have here is you have 4 seasons. One here, one here, one here, one here. And it starts at Libra. Okay, the next season starts at Cancer. Okay, again, Libra is a cardinal sign. So you're starting at a cardinal sign. Then the next season starts at Cancer, which is a cardinal sign. Again, Aries, cardinal sign. Capricorn. So this is the last season that we're in, is Capricorn, and we're actually in, according to this timeline, at this scale, starting it back here, okay, on 10/16, or 7th day of Sukkot, or the 8th day assembly, okay, at this scale, okay, we're in Scorpio right now, in the season of Capricorn. In any case, I want to talk about this period, what I call a little season. Okay, consists of 6,480 days, or 216 months. So each one of these is 216 months. It's 216, 216, 216, 216 times 4, and there you have your 864 months, and a total of 360 degrees. 30 times 12. You get 30 degrees times 12, it's 360. So I thought this was interesting. I'm just going to throw it out there. Okay, we're told in Scripture that at the end of the 1,000 years, that Satan's going to be loosed. He's going to be let loose for a little season. Okay, right here. So I wonder what the chances are when Satan's bound or let loose from his prison for a little season, if this isn't what's being spoken of right here in the Bible. It's 216 months. Okay, 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. Interesting. Each one of these months is 6 years. So 6 years, 6 years, 6 years. A little season. Okay, again, the big season would be 6,480 years. A little season is 216 months. So I'd have to almost, makes you wonder if, what's being spoken of about Satan being loose for a little season, if this isn't what's being spoken of right here. Okay, this period right here. That's just speculation. I thought it was interesting. So, you know what? I'm going to go back to this chart for a second right here and talk about this date, the splitting of it, the divine proportions on 8/25/26/1990. Okay, so essentially you come right here between Pisces and Aries, between 1988, 1994. Okay, this is where the divine proportions take place right here. All right, so I think if I believe right, it's very interesting that there's 206 or 1,260 days between the divine proportion split until Aquarius. So everything fits together very interestingly. And you know, as I demonstrated on the other video, Barack Obama is without a doubt so interconnected with this. I mean, if you just, you know, without knowing this, you'd start seeing some things. All right, but when this is incorporated into it, it's just as one example, the date that he pronounced or proclaimed to the world that he was running for president on February 10th, 2007. So right here, okay, it is, you know, I'm not even gonna do the math for you, okay, but Barack made his proclamation to the world that he was running for president on February 10th, 2007, okay, and so do the math. Okay, this is the start of the last season, okay, right here, January 5th and 6th, 2000, okay, is when we started the season of Capricorn, if I can call it that, okay. Find yourself a good date calculator and find out how many days are between this event, okay, and the day that Barack Obama announced to the world that he was running for president. It might not grab your attention right away, but once you have the day count, start doing some research on it. And so he is very much a part of this, you know, a part of this period of time in more ways than one. And I think I've amply demonstrated that. So anyways, I just wanted to maybe cover a couple things I didn't cover before. And on my next video, I'm going to go into detail about what happened with Israel, you know, in this first season, and how nearly everything is within the context of what's being spoken of here in this video. There's certain numbers that just really grab your attention when you've studied this for a while. You know, anything to do with what's oftentimes referred to as a Platonic year. You know, 864, 2160, 6480, 504. These things really start jumping out at you when it's incorporated into this framework, as I'm calling it. Okay, I'm going to go into a lot more detail about that, and another thing too is back in May 11th, 1949, Israel was admitted into the UN, the world body. It was the 27th day of the counting of the Omar, and I believe that day was extraordinarily significant in that, you know, the revelation of Jesus Christ as Messiah comes through 27 books of the New Testament or the New Covenant or New Beginnings. All right, there's 27 books in total, and the revelation of Jesus is the 27th. Okay, and on 5/11/1949, which was the 27th day of the counting of the Omar. Okay, count backwards in time. 27 of these cycles. Okay, that's 27 times 25920. All right, do the math and see where it takes you. Okay, I think you'll be surprised of where that will take you when you use 27 cycles of 25,920 days. Okay, it's going to take you to the resurrection possibly of Jesus Christ, and I'm not going to tell you the date. So if it's something that you're interested in doing, you can do the math yourself. Again, it's counting back in time from May 11th, 1949, the 27th day of the counting of the Omar, count back 27 cycles of this. Okay, it's going to take you back to it's going to take you back to 33 AD. It's going to take you to 3 days after April 3rd, 33 AD. So you can just verify it for yourself. That's where it takes you. Anyways, God bless, and we're going to find out real soon here if this here is indeed prophetic. Okay, we're going to find out real soon, because this date is coming up quick, and I think you're starting to see what's going on with Russia and the Ukraine, and of course the continued Arab Spring that really hasn't stopped. I think things are going to start ramping up here. Today's date is 3/2/2014, and I think the things that you're seeing in the news, for those who are watching, I think they're going to start picking up here, and especially, I believe, with regards to what's happening with Israel. We should be watching that prophetically, and I think you can expect any time after Purim is when I would be expecting to see some violence break out in that region. So, in any case, God bless. Take care.